Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Graham. How's
Hey,
it going?
Lucas.
Hey, again.
Hey. So, on this episode of Snack Time, we are going back to the heady days of when Ninja Turtles games were good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are checking out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4: Turtles in Time.
Yeah. I love this game.
This
Real
game's
talk.
super good,
This game is really good.
and
A classic, you might
Yeah.
say.
I might
Oh,
say that.
absolutely.
Yes.
This was
So-
actually one of the first games I ever played.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to have video games for a long time, apparently.
That sounds like a terrible childhood.
Really, I guess, like, my parents were, like, debating on whether or not to, like, pull the trigger on that. And we had, like, a family friend, and I went over, and they had this game, and I played a lot. And eventually, one of them caved, and I ended up with games. But
Oh no!
not this one.
They stole the Statue of Liberty, guys.
Yeah.
Krang.
Bloated
What a jerk.
beanbag. I don't really know what's going on there. Big Apple 3 a.m., man. So,
This game.
Lucas, you're a pretty big Ninja Turtles guy. Yeah?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who is your favorite Ninja Turtle?
It was Donatello for a long time. And now it's Michelangelo. I've lightened up a lot more in the past couple of years.
Yeah, see, my
And
thing
I
is,
identified more with his party lifestyle.
yeah,
I
it
like parties.
seems your speed. I was always Michelangelo guy because, I don't know, I have red hair, so I just liked orange stuff, and he was the orange one. But I identify quite a bit with Donatello, and also, once I started playing Soul Calibur, I realized the merits of having the weapon that reaches further. So I kind of I'm all Donatello all the time now.
I don't know if reach is that much of a factor in this game, honestly. Like,
You
I think
mean
it seems
jump,
like it
kick,
is.
jump, kick all the time is the strategy?
No, stick and move, man. Always.
But to stick and move, you need a stick. He's the only one with one of those.
Oh,
Good point.
I get the joke.
Thanks.
You keep getting crushed by that. That shouldn't be a thing.
You're saying I should be better at the game?
I just don't
agree.
get crushed by the ball.
Especially considering how much I've played it. Haven't played it a lot recently though. It's a nice chance to get back to it.
So have you guys played the 2009 remake?
I actually just played that again recently.
Oh,
It's
yeah?
really
So-
quite bad.
Yeah,
Is that what
Yeah.
you're asking?
it's not great.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I never played it because I heard from many people it was bad, and not to bother with it. So I was like, okay, you just saved me some money. So
Yeah, it's a
never got
remake
it.
of the arcade game, which was never as good as the home game to begin with, and it took out the things that made the arcade game good, and the controls were bad.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think it's like garbage, but it's not that far removed from garbage.
Yeah,
sub garbage.
like
Yeah, I mean, you can still kind of run through it and mash buttons like you're playing a beat 'em up, but it's definitely like they tried to force it into 3D and it doesn't quite work.
Yeah, I never liked the look of it much either.
Yeah, it's like probably the most uncreative way they could have gone about remaking it.
Yeah,
yeah,
bummer.
it's too bad, really.
But the
And
original.
of course, now you can't buy it, so we are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they lost the rights because that's what happens to digital games.
And Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
But hey, at least the original's still pretty great.
Yep.
And I even like parts of the arcade version because
Yeah.
I mean, there's different stuff in both versions, so it's kind of fun to play both and
Yeah.
just see what's different.
I was actually just playing. I think I was so. We have in Rochester, where I used to live. There's the Strong Museum, and they have a bunch of arcade machines. And I believe I can't remember if it was this one or another one, but there was a Ninja Turtles. They had an arcade machine there, and I actually played that for the first time, and that was pretty great.
Was it maybe TMNT 1989?
And it looked like this, but I don't think it was this.
They both look pretty similar.
Yeah.
So it probably was that one then. Yeah.
The first game kind of looked like this in the arcade, and
Yeah.
then the NES game looked worse, but actually played pretty well.
The NES game. Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
like that one as much.
I played the 1981 or 1989 one at Fun Spot recently, actually. That was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing it. I played it with a couple of my friends, and it makes me want. I would like a a new good Turtles game again.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I mean, see, here's the thing. I'm not big on the Turtles. I never really grew up with them, but I always like the games. I
Yeah.
just like the games. I've always because like this and Hyperstone Heist, which is another I consider classic.
Well, it's
probably-
basically this with
It's pretty much
slightly
the same thing.
remixed levels, and it takes out the Mode 7 scaling stuff and like replaces
I
it
don't know.
with.
I think I ended up playing Hyperstone Heist more because I was more of a Genesis guy growing up.
That explains so much.
Well, here's the thing. I was one of the lucky households among my friends who had both the Genesis and Super Nintendo. So people arguing between the two, I was just like, whatever. I don't care. I could just play both. But I ended up playing Genesis more growing up. I did play a ton of Super Nintendo as well, but like the Genesis was kind of my thing. I don't really have a reason. I guess I just ended up playing it more. But yeah, I do. Going back to this one, yeah, this game is equally awesome. This version, rather.
Yeah. They're both great.
Indeed.
But yeah,
Yeah,
speaking of
Ninja Turtle games today are.
yeah, I was
weird.
gonna say, Lucas. Speaking of hoping for a new one, you're very much the Charlie Brown and the football on that. You keep hoping that new stuff is going to be good, and you give it a chance.
Yeah, I'm like playing them because I mean, so I kind of didn't really care about the Turtles like that, you know. It's an old thing and it's a kind of a childhood thing, so I wasn't really paying much attention. And then my son's he's become aware of the Ninja Turtles because it kind of came back, and so it's been a fun way to sort of, I guess, experience it again through him.
Yeah.
As he's kind of growing up, and there's like a new generation of it, and more video games happen to come out, so I'll check them out.
You like there was one on I believe 3DS, right? That was okay.
The tie-in with the movie.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
By Magic Pockets.
By Magic Pockets. and it was their second one, which was their first one was really bad. So I don't know what happened, but they've been getting more creative with them because I don't know what's going on in Activision, but they seem to like not want to like appeal to the old fans, and they're just kind of like throwing ideas at a dartboard, I guess.
Yeah.
Sounds like Activision.
Yeah, so they're like, here, Magic Pockets, and then they made a beat 'em up, and it was terrible. And they're like, oh, do it again. And then they did like a Diablo clone, and it was weird, but it was cool. And then they gave it to someone else, and then they made like a Batman Arkham game that was not very good, but also kind of weird.
Yeah.
And the most recent one,
Way Forward.
Way Forward, yeah. And
course-
they were just kind of like, do your thing, the Way Forward-y, Metroid-y, Shantae
Yeah.
maze stuff.
And I know you're a
You
big fan of Way
adorable little
Forward
guys.
too, but I mean,
Oh, it was not good.
Way Forward has always kind of made its name on making some really cool stuff and then paying the bills by doing some quick license projects, you know.
Yeah,
Their
it was
license projects
definitely-
have never been totally
Yeah.
consistent in that way.
This one was definitely phoned in.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that came out already.
Yeah, it was a pretty quiet release.
I was like before you started talking about it, I was like, hey, isn't there the Way Forward one coming out soon? And then it's been out. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just happen to be. I mean, I'm on Twitter every day because of the whole freelance grind, and I was just happened to be around. It was announced, and then I like interviewed them and stuff about it. But and I didn't even get to play it until recently, and it was just not very good.
That's a bummer. How about that free Connect tie-in that came out? How about
I
that?
saw that existed.
Yeah.
That's all I know about it. There's some mobile games too that I'm vaguely aware of.
So
No,
they're... Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
They're trying new things, but they just aren't. They don't have the resources to
They need to
actually.
just make another 2D beat 'em up.
Yeah.
They've tried that a
those
few
are-
times too. They just haven't put like good teams on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think they're getting like resources that they need to actually make good games.
So there's a current TMNT cartoon, correct?
Yes, and it is very good.
Green Slim
Okay.
Balls.
So I remember there was another one from the mid 2000s that was, or maybe early 2000s that wasn't as good.
Yeah, I think it was like 2003 or something.
That-
I was
and that-
vaguely aware of it.
Yeah, and that was kind of when TMNT was coming back in a big way. at least starting to.
Yeah, I think there are a bunch of Konami games that sort of had.
Yeah, they were like on the GameCube and PS2 and stuff. Like there was a Smash Brothers style like 4-player brawler that was
That was
not
the
good.
Wii game that was actually developed by Game Arts.
That was a Wii one. Okay.
Yeah,
that came out
the
after
team that
the
made
last
Brawl
movie.
basically
Yeah.
made that game. It was not horrible.
Yeah.
I never played that. But yeah, I mean, hold on.
So, man, what?
Kind of gone back and forth with the rights and stuff, and the original creators. And Nickelodeon picked it up and seems to be seeing success with it, at least with the show. So that's probably where it's going to be for a while.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew, who should I pick? Who should I go in with next?
We were talking about Mike earlier, so
Okay,
Mikey.
let's do some Mike.
Yeah. Yeah. Might as well.
Yeah.
Alley Cat Blues.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Okay. So Andrew, I know it wasn't your thing, but who's your favorite Ninja Turtle?
I don't know if I have one. I don't know. I feel like this isn't the first time someone asked me, and I feel like I've given a different answer each time. So I don't know. I have seen maybe 2 episodes of the original cartoon.
Okay.
I have seen a couple of episodes of the one I was talking about, the one that came out in the early to mid 2000s that wasn't very good. I've seen some of the movies. I don't know. I just never
even in the games, like to be. Do you have like a favorite from a gameplay perspective?
You know what, in this game, since Mike was always my favorite. Leonardo's cool. I don't know. I guess I never really had a favorite. Like it's weird. I know, but
Speaking of how they play, one of the neat things about kind of the newer games is developers have been trying a lot harder to differentiate between all as far as like their fighting styles and stuff. Like the game, I don't know who developed it, but the one that came out like digitally that was like the Batman ripoff. All the turtles
Out
have
of the
these weird,
Shadows or
almost
whatever
like
it is.
yeah.
What was the
They all have these like fighting game like special moves.
Yeah.
You have to like build up a meter and stuff to play them, and like they're all radically different fighting styles.
Huh.
Like Raphael even does like wrestling moves and stuff. It's
weird.
and they all kind of like fit their personality. Because like Raphael's like the angry one that's always getting himself in trouble, and so he does reckless wrestling moves that don't actually work in real fights.
I mean, there's one thing about Ninja Turtles that you really need to strive for. It's realism.
I mean,
so
seriously.
Yeah.
Also, like
Exactly.
real wrestling.
I mean that's what it's like in the movie.
Like, are there real wrestling moves? Is that a thing?
There
that
is amateur wrestling, which is like actual competition, and then there's like sort of grappling and like mixed martial arts fights. Like a suplex is a thing you can actually do to someone and hurt them really badly. For example.
I like falling in there. I don't know why I like falling in there. I just do.
It's pretty funny. This cave is creepy.
It is creepy. Oh yeah,
that's not
Slim
it's not
balls
a
again.
cave. It's a sewer, but okay.
Yeah, it's a sewer. It's where you live, you know.
Yeah, but it's creepy. That one in particular.
Well, if it goes to a cave, I guess, you know.
Yeah. So who's this guy you're fighting? I forgot.
It's unclear.
Yeah.
Metalhead? I don't know.
Metalhead.
Yeah, Metalhead.
Metalhead. Okay.
He's kind of just like a evil robot turtle.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't remember this guy at all.
He's one of the more obscure ones.
Yeah.
Unless all you do is play Turtles in Time, in which case he's pretty common. You play him every time.
Yeah, you'll know him from that.
I definitely had his figure. I was little, so it did not occur to me that he had a name that was important to remember.
Yeah. The new show's kind of doing a good job, sort of using all the characters.
Bebop and Rocksteady?
I don't know. I haven't like seen a ton of the show. outside of what I've
Aren't
watched of that.
Bebop and Rocksteady like two of the more popular ones though?
Yeah, they were a big deal back in the the era of this stuff, like the 80s and 90s.
Oh man, I'm gonna die in the sewer, you guys.
Oh god, I'm gonna nerd out really bad here, but the show in the early 2000s actually was pretty successful. But the thing was they tried to stick to the original comics more.
Yeah.
Which is or isn't a good idea depending on who you're talking to. And I don't think Bebop and Rocksteady were in that ever.
Aw. So did you ever read the comics? Or
I've I don't dig the vibe. It's kind of like this goofy, ironic 90s grit that I just don't really care for.
Yeah, 90s grit has not aged well at all.
I mean, it was originally 80s grit, I guess.
Yeah. Oh yeah, late 80s. It was like a Daredevil parody, sort of. I don't know. It's not really my bag.
It's just I just still think it's funny that from that came the Ninja Turtles cartoon, which is so completely different.
There's actually a documentary that just came out about the Turtles franchise. It's pretty interesting.
Huh.
Yeah. Because the two guys made Ninja Turtles, and one guy
Eastman and Laird,
was sort of a God, I think Eastman he was there, and a big fan of Jack Kirby and kind of the more lighthearted 70s and 80s comic storytelling. And then Laird was Mr. Hardcore, muscles and guns and pouches 90s man. And then they came together and made the sort of mix of the two. It was really successful. But when they split apart and kind of just stuck to their own gimmicks, neither one was really successful. And there's a big thing. It's kind of interesting. It was just the perfect storm of clashing styles coming together and taking off. That just wouldn't work on their own.
Yeah, and just conceptually, it's really weird. So we got these kids, or rather these turtles, and they're gonna mutate, and they're gonna become these they're gonna, I don't know, martial arts and pizza, and it's crazy. I just don't know how you come up with that, but I guess in the 80s, anything can happen.
There's pizza and sad things in comics.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it's animal powers.
I'm gonna give this level one more try.
All right.
And I'm gonna go with Leo. And
oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen the continue screen in this game. I didn't realize it was a pixelated cutout from the movie poster.
Oh yeah, it's really weird.
That's weird. There's no hint at the movie whatsoever in the game. It's bizarre.
Yeah, I mean, again, I guess that was added for the home version, so
yeah,
the arcade version didn't have continue screen like that. I don't think. But.
So,
right.
any other
just pumping orders.
Any other notable Turtles games you guys can think of? You guys
the first game for the NES with bomb defusing.
Oh gosh.
Wasn't that game actually terrible though?
I mean, it was really difficult.
Yeah.
No.
I've never played.
Tournament Fighters. Talk about Tournament Fighters.
What's
Tournament Fighters is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Was that?
It's like the goofy Street Fighter 2 version of Ninja Turtles.
It was a Super Nintendo game, and I think there was an NES port too. Maybe a Genesis port. I don't even remember. But yeah.
There was also a Genesis one, but a different name.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was weird. I mean, it was just kind of a Street Fighter 2 clone back when that thing was happening a lot.
There were 3 Game Boy games that were okay.
Yeah, I had the first one. It was pretty good.
Yeah, Fall of the Foot Clan was my favorite.
Yeah.
It's the second one.
There was
a
couple handheld ones that people liked. I think when the other movie revival happened, 2007 or something, I think Ubisoft had a hold of the license and they did some stuff with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, didn't they make a really late GBA game?
Yeah, and people liked that. I remember.
Yeah, it was kind of the most like this that a game has been since, I think.
Yeah, and then
it wasn't well made, but it was the right design. So
right. And then they did like a console one that was, I guess, on their Prince of Persia engine that was really weird.
Oh yeah, man. Yep.
Yeah. I remember, like,
Wasn't that based on the film?
yeah, it was based on that movie that came out.
Yeah, it was like 2006, 2007, something like that.
Something like that.
How there is a game called Turtles in Time, and then there's one based on Prince of Persia that is not that one, is kind of weird.
Well,
Like,
Turtles
we got
in Time
this
already
time
happened,
manipulation thing, and then we got a totally different game that's about time manipulation.
Like, well, we grabbed this license and we have this thing that's hot, so let's slap it over this engine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not a bad
Make a
idea.
quick buck. I mean, I played it and it played okay, but it was, it was over and it was what it was.
So, okay, I guess my follow-up question would be, since there really hasn't been a good Turtles game in a while, or at least a really good one, what I mean, I guess what would you think would be a good modern-day Turtles game, and who should make it? Go.
Okay, so my
Platinum.
man, that's
my
a
default answer to everything.
That's good. That's a good one, actually.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd play that.
So-
Give Platinum Donkey Kong. Give Platinum.
As long as it's
I don't know.
not, as long as it's like Bayonetta and Revengeance Platinum, and not the Legend of Korra Platinum, then I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
it will
also
probably be Legend of
Activision.
Korra Platinum.
It's not giving people what they need.
Yeah.
God, freaking Activision's ruining everything.
So speaking of Activision, I'd like to keep my my suggestions within the realm of possibility. So
Uh huh.
if the next game is going to be an Activision game because Activision owns the license, here's what I want. I
Give
want.
to Raven.
Yep. How'd you know?
Because I just kind of remembered that Activision had Raven.
Yeah.
Isn't
So I
anything
want
good with
Raven,
them.
and I want it to basically be like a Marvel Ultimate Alliance game, but with the 4 turtles, 4-player,
Yeah.
same screen co-op
That
with
would be
RPG
cool.
That's a
elements.
solid idea. And,
Yeah.
and like even throw in all the other goofy characters too.
Like
'cause
frankly,
why
that
not?
like the GameCube game back in the day was kind of that. I mean, it was more of a beat 'em up, but like it
Yeah.
kind of fit that. But yeah, you do the Marvel Ultimate Alliance thing, get Raven back on it. I mean, Raven's busy doing Call of Duty maps, which is sad, but
Yeah.
but I think that would be a good game. You know what? Vicarious Visions could do it. That's fine. I thought Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 was okay.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
it did what it needed to do. I'm trying to think of a serious answer. And I don't know. I really liked what Magic Pockets did with the second one. And I feel like if they tried to do one that was more fleshed out and not for kids, it probably wouldn't work because like Diablo exists.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I feel like there aren't that many Diablo-like games anymore. Like other than like Torchlight and maybe
Yeah.
something else, like some occasional like indie release. But I
Yeah.
feel like that's something that you don't see much of these days. And
If you
I'm
did
still
like an
just gobsmacked
arcadey
that-
martial arts combat focused take on Diablo, that could be interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm just kind of godsmacked that happened in the first place because like they must have just been like, here, do whatever you want. We just put it out with the movie, and there's like, well, let's do something silly, and that happened somehow. Because I'm just having a hard time imagining like a pitch for that.
Yeah.
what if they finally got Beanox off of Spider-Man games and had them make a TMNT game? Do you think they could do an
That'd be
okay
kind of
job?
sick. Like Beanox definitely has talent.
Yeah.
If they have time.
Yeah, exactly. They just need time. I mean, I don't know what kind of TMNT games we'll get between now and whatever the next movie is, because I assume that is already going to happen, considering how
Yeah.
successful the first one was. So I don't know if we'll actually get any other games, or the next one will just be the next movie game. But if they actually have time, or basically if they're tied down to like a specific film release, they could probably do okay, because I feel like Beanox was getting on the right track.
Yeah.
Until like the Amazing Spider-Man games is not the worst, but they could have been so much better.
Yeah, I mean, Shattered Dimensions is one that they actually like got to take their time
Yeah.
on. That was awesome. And then
game-
after that, it
game
was like,
legitimately
oh,
okay.
people
And they
like
had to
this
crank
game
out
and
Edge of
bought it.
Time, and yeah.
Do it again
Yeah.
next year. Do it again
Yeah.
next year. Do it again next year. And then it just
What
didn't
a
work
bummer.
out.
But yeah, I think
And I even liked both Amazing Spider-Man games, but I'm gonna also be honest. like they had serious problems.
Yeah. I feel like they were getting somewhere. They just again needed more time. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think like would it be would you want it to be like a level to level kind of thing like Shattered Dimensions, or would you want it to be an open? Do you think TMNT could work in like an open world, like an open NYC sort of thing, or do you think it'd be better as a kind of linear?
Maybe I just knowing how the open world thing works out in AAA,
Yeah.
like B plus grade studios. I just don't
Probably
see
not
that
the
being
best.
appealing.
I mean, especially
it would
like
just feel
exploring
like-
the world of Ninja Turtles actually doesn't sound that interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
If
yeah.
ever
Yeah.
there was a game that's about combat, it's a game
It would
that's
just
about
be like
combat.
Assassin's Creed Lite, where you just like hold down the parkour button and run across
Yeah.
the tops,
Yeah.
and that's what you would do.
All
Yeah,
right,
no,
so I'm gonna call our episode at this point.
Okay.
But yeah, so that is Turtles in Time. If you need, I mean, you know, it's not on any digital services because licensing is the worst. But
Oh my God, their eyes.
if you ever track
That's
down
terrifying.
if you ever track down a copy, you should give it a try.
And hopefully Activision
Definitely.
is listening and they get Beanox on the next Turtles game.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, this game is like shot up in value secondhand,
Yeah.
so it's like almost $50 to get a copy of it.
Jeez.
Well, it's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
All
totally.
right.
Worth tracking down.
See you next time.
Bye bye.